I'm Jimi Hendrick, and this is episode 91, Midlife Crisis, on Empower Your Pattern 2.0. Did you know that there are success principles to help you receive more, to help you receive a better and extraordinary life right now? Well, I'm Jimi Hendrick. I am a motivational speaker, a success, confidence, and thrive coach, and I'm here to give you these success patterns. Let's go. This is J.R. friend E, and I gotta tell you, Jimmy's pushing this out the door because he got somebody more qualified to deal with midlife crisis. Dr. Paul Jenkins. Let's go.
I'm not even sure what midlife means. If you die when you're 50, then midlife is 25. But traditionally, it's that period of time from about age 40 to about age 60, where people come to terms with their own mortality. They realize they're getting older. They take an inventory of their life and they think, have I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish? Is my life meaning anything to anyone? This is what we mean when we're talking about a midlife crisis. For some people, it can trigger pretty severe depression or anxiety. It doesn't have to. And I think that there's some things that we can do. So I've brought the top 10 ways to deal with midlife crisis today, starting with number 10. Acknowledge what's happening. It's okay to notice that you're going through these feelings. There's a whole lot of things you can do about it. We got 9 more things on our list. It starts with acknowledgement and accepting that your life is where it is. The fact that it's happening is not a bad thing. It's just to be noticed. So acknowledge what's happening. And then let's step up to number 9 on our list. Number 9 on our countdown is to refocus. When you're working with a camera, if it gets out of focus, then you can bring it right back into focus by refocusing. That's what we're talking about here. Midlife crisis is often caused by focusing on the deficits, the failures, the places that didn't work out. Okay, you can focus on that all day long, but notice what it's doing to your feelings. When I'm talking about refocusing and bringing it back into clarity, what if you were to focus on your achievements and what you've accomplished and your gratitude for a life that's been well lived up to this point? You could always find ways to compare how you're doing. It could always be better. It could always be worse. Knowing that, you've got a choice as to which way you look to make the comparison. Refocusing brings you back into a sense of abundance and gratitude for the life that you have, which is abundant and rich and good. Refocus. Now, coming in at number 8 on our countdown is to avoid alcohol and other drugs. I wish I didn't even have to say this, but it's pretty common for people when they're feeling some distress to turn to solutions that are probably going to make things worse. Alcohol and other drugs tend to numb us in the moment and create additional problems for us later on. Interesting that I would bring this up during a midlife crisis conversation, because interestingly enough, some people get clear to this point in their life pretty much free from substance abuse, and because of the crisis, they launch into a pattern that is very destructive and creates all kinds of problems for the people around them that they love. Avoid alcohol and other drugs. Now, number 7 on the countdown comes back to a classic image of the midlife crisis. And that is the flashy sports cars or the extravagant trips or the new bling that was purchased. Number 7 is to think twice about big purchases. I said think twice. You might want to think 3 or 4 times about it. There's a lot of regrets that occur when people impulsively go out there and do one of these big flashy things to deal with their midlife crisis. There's better things that you can do. Think twice about those big purchases. And that leads us to number 6. Talk to someone. Honestly, you've got people in your life who love you and they want to support you through this transition time, through this challenging time of your life, especially if it's leading to depression and feelings of inadequacy. Talk to someone. It could be a professional too, a therapist, a counselor, psychologist, a life coach. Call me if you need to. Let's talk about this in a way that allows you to navigate this time of life in a way that will set you up for further success. And that brings us to number 5. Think upgrade. Upgrade is not throwing away your entire life that you created before in exchange for a brand new one. No, it's taking the life that you have and tweaking it or adjusting it or upgrading it in a way that it's even better. You've got creative power that will allow you to come up with some really creative ideas about that don't have you throwing away the old life. That's one of the risks of a midlife crisis. You've got relationships, you've got assets, you've got capital in your world, including human life relationship capital. Don't throw it away. Take what you've got and think upgrade. Which leads us into number 4, which for me is key relationships. Turn to your key relationships. I think that there's 5 levels of key relationships that we have in our life. Starting with our Creator, which is number 1. I'm not here as your spiritual advisor, but I'm acknowledging that you got to come to terms with your source. Where did you come from? Your Creator. Our second most important key relationship is the one that we have with ourselves. And some people skip this one. They forget that it's even a relationship. But this is an important one, especially right now as you're going through a midlife crisis. Pay attention to how you treat yourself, how you think of yourself, how you talk about yourself. Our third key relationship is our family. And there's a lineup within family. I think it goes spouse, children, extended family in that order. You've got these people in your life for a reason. Our fourth key relationship is the one that we have with other people. These are your coworkers, they're your clients, your customers, the people at the store, the people at the club, the people at the church. They're all important. They're not as important as your family. So get clear about the priorities. And then fifth is your relationship with things. This is the one that gets twisted sometimes when people are going through the midlife deal, because they exchange all of the more important relationships for their relationship with things. It makes them feel young and vital again. Well, all of your key relationships can do that. Your relationship with things is on the list. It is actually important, but it's not as important as the people. Turn to those key relationships. Now, number 3, this is a powerful one. That's why it's near the top of the list. Physical activity. Your body's been changing, hasn't it? I know, and we never want to acknowledge that as we get older, certain things don't work as well as they used to. Physical activity is a really important way to maintain vitality, to preserve your energy, to take care of your mental health. Most of the research that I've looked at suggests that you get engaged in good aerobic activity at least 3 times a week for about a half hour. That's just a baseline to kind of gauge this from. Activity is something that can preserve your precious life energy for years to come. Make sure you're paying attention to that part of your life. Which brings us up to number 2. Number 2 on our list is solitude, prayer, meditation. peacefulness, mindfulness. Pick a word from those that resonates with you. It's the way that you spend time quieting all of the noise. Just calm it all down for a minute so that you can get centered. Meditation has been practiced for centuries. And the purpose of it is to bring us into tune with ourselves and our connection with the world around us as well. This is something that will increase the clarity also as you're moving forward to create the upgrade that we already talked about. And number one on our list, this is going to surprise you so much. Coming from the positivity doc, practice positivity. Practice.
All right. We have about less than 2 minutes. Thank you, E. And thank you, Dr. Paul Jenkins. You know, these really helped me out a lot. I'm working a little bit more on my exercise. And you know, I'm thinking upgrade. Many times you probably heard from my good friend Bishop Dave. He was real popular. Episode 8, episode 9, episode 11, episode 17. I'm not sure. There were a few episodes where I put him in there, and then some others. But one of the things Bishop Dave told me to do, he said, it's obvious to me, Jimmy, that you're having a midlife crisis. What you need to do is find yourself. Discover yourself. Find out what it is you really want to do and investigate it. You know, kind of investigate it hardcore, because it's the only way that's going to be, because I'll be honest with you. Okay? And this is going to be kind of like therapy, and I'm sorry about this in advance, but I feel like this pandemic has kind of set me backwards. It's kind of set me backwards, and so I've got to say this. It's got to be dealt with. Hope you've enjoyed listening to Empower Your Pattern. If you like what you hear, please subscribe. Become a part of the Empower Your Pattern community. This is Jimi Hendrix saying until next time. Don't just sit there and take it. Build your dreams so you can take it. Do what others don't so you can be what others won't. Do what others don't so you can have what others can't. Choose act, pursue happiness. God bless you.